So the notion that graphics would not also be based on any prisoner photos you might release, because we already know that people were abused in prisons. So why not put them out there?
I'm not sure that you'd do a graphic of a photo, but
no, of a graphic of someone being abused. We've all seen the Abu Ghraib photos, and you were saying about the photos back in April. Look, it's already exhausted, and essentially these photos are going to come out anyway.
Based on the previous legal argument, yes. The previous legal argument denoted that the case had been lost. There's a new legal argument that's being made. But my sense is, Ed, why do you do a graphic on CNN?
We're trying to show people.
Okay.
Well, explain.
The president believes that the existence of the photos themselves doesn't actually add to the understanding that detainee abuse happened, was investigated, that actions were taken by those that did indeed or might have undertaken potential abuse of detainees, and that those cases were all dating back to finishing in 2004. The president doesn't believe the release of a photo surrounding that investigation does anything to illuminate the existence of that investigation, only to provide some portion of sensationality.
Robert, is that really his role to decide whether or not it illuminates? That's not the President of the United States' role to decide, well, this information will illuminate for the people and this information isn't.
No, the role of the President in this situation is as Commander-in-Chief. And if he determines that through the release of these photos that they pose a threat to those that serve to protect our freedom in Iraq and Afghanistan, through the illumination of whatever, he can make a determination to ask his legal team to go back to court and make a legal argument that he doesn't believe was made and provides the most salient case and most important points for not releasing these photos. Those determinations are indeed made by this president and are being made. Just put it on vibrate, man. We did this before. That's all right. That's all right. Third, actually. It happened twice that one day. Go ahead.
The Bush administration has obviously made the argument that releasing these specific photographs will endanger troops, and they did so in the way that you described with seeking the FOIA exemption for law enforcement personnel.
Right.
The Second Circuit Court ruled against that, saying that it's not meant, that exemption is not intended, quote, as an all-purpose damper on global controversy. What is this new argument that the president wants his team to present?
That not seeking an exception for law enforcement. Give me the phone. All right? This is, come here, let me see this thing. Come here. Interrogation. I'll be right back.
He threw your phone.
No, somebody caught it. Don't worry. I made the determination that the illumination of the sound was distracting to the briefing as the press secretary to the President of the United States.
Here's that mallet you want.
What is...
You too? Do you want to do this too? Here, come on.
Yeah, Gibbs wants to take my phone, but I don't think it's a good idea. No favoritism. Here, I'll explain later.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no.
Come on. I assume it's your banker with a suit like that. Sorry. This is cotton candy down the street. It's a circus. The president believes that the specific case surrounding the damage that would be done to our troops and our national security has not fully been developed and put in front of the court to make. That's the case that the legal team will now make. The Department of Justice will seek to look for different avenues. As I said earlier, likely seek a stay.
With the Supreme Court?
Well, you could seek a stay with an additional judge. Then the June 8 deadline also is for an appeal to the Supreme Court, and that's likely the next Golly, guys, just put them on vibrate.
I'm sorry, if I could just get
go ahead.
the specific avenue that your legal team is going to go. You're not sure if it's going to be going back to the district court.
I don't know that. I'll check with. We'll check with those guys specifically. I think in some ways they're looking at whether it is to go to a lower court or to go to the Supreme Court.
And then just to follow up on the new argument. So, is there specific case law arguments that the president knows that exist that were not used? Because I find it hard to believe that the Bush administration didn't turn under every rock to try to find an argument to do this.
The president doesn't believe that was the case, and the president, after reviewing the case, believes that we have a compelling argument.
Could you let us know what those new arguments are? Thank you.
Is part of his concern here, though, that this would open the floodgates for new calls for investigations? And what does this mean for his stance on whether more memos should be released and that type of thing?
Well, I'm not sure that this case is necessarily analogous, and I wouldn't want to draw broad conclusions not based on some specificity.
What is his current stance on whether there should be an investigation?
Well, I think we covered that a few weeks ago.
We covered it, but...
Well, I should say that it hasn't changed since we last covered it.
He's sort of gone back and forth on that issue. I mean, he sort of left the door open to it, but then, you signaled...
We'll do this again. The president believes that the determination about whether or not anybody broke the law should be made by those who determine whether or not anybody broke the law, and that in this case would be the Department of Justice.
But should there be any kind of congressional panel looking into this? At one stage, he raised the idea of a 9/11 type of...
Yeah, I think the president, and I've said this before, the president believes a lot of this is being investigated by the Senate Intelligence Committee, that's an avenue and a venue that possesses, because of clearances and such, a broad ability to conduct an investigation, and thinks that's an appropriate place for it to be. Yes, sir.
On the argument that the release of the photos would be a disincentive into investigations, wouldn't it also be a disincentive into detainee abuse? And on those investigations, we don't, because they were administrative rather than judicial, we don't know the outcome of a lot of those investigations.
Right. On the first part, I can certainly check with Pentagon on part 2. Look, I think you could certainly argue that it hasn't always been the case, because obviously there continue to be cases, regrettably, of detainee abuse. But at the same time, if each and every photo that is taken, regardless of whether that, or regardless of the fact that it doesn't actually add to the notion that these cases are being looked into, the president believes provides that disincentive. On behalf of CBS, Mark, who you're now the sole representative for the... yeah, exactly. You want to phone it in?
How is this decision on the photos consistent with what he said on his second day in office? I will hold myself as president to a new standard of openness. Information will not be withheld just because I say so.
Ooh, look at that. They got a because, Mark, the president has, in this case, welcome back.
What I missed?
You didn't. For you. Yeah. And somebody brief Bill on the new Supreme Court nominee. Because, again, the president, as I said to Jake's question, the president made this determination as the commander-in-chief, made this determination as somebody who is charged with protecting our men and women in harm's way. That's why this determination was made. That's why he's asked the legal team to go back to court.
And this statement is for civilian matters and not for national security matters?
I think, again, Mark, as I said, I don't think the existence of the photos isn't the only thing that denotes the existence of an investigation. The website includes documentation that underscores the potential abuse that was being investigated through the year 2004. The president doesn't believe that the existence publicly of the photos adds to that.